Why is BYD experimenting with multiple solid electrolytes inside the same battery instead of simply just choosing the best one? Because BYD has just published 6 more solid-state battery patent filings in China on the 6th of August. And when you actually look at what the engineers are trying to do, I think it tells us far more about the state of solid-state batteries than the crazy headlines about 1,000 kilometer EVs, like the BYD Seagull with 1,000 kilometers. BYD is now working on cells that combine different types of solid electrolyte, particularly sulfide and halide or halide materials, sometimes separated by additional layers inside the battery. And at first it sounds unnecessarily complicated unless you're a battery chemist, which I am not, by the way, but it does sort of make sense, so bear with me. Surely if solid-state batteries are supposed to replace the liquid electrolyte inside today's lithium-ion cells, you'd find the best one to do that, and then you put it in the battery and you basically solve the problem. I think that's how we sort of feel like it's going to go with solid-state batteries. Well, clearly not. In fact, virtually all of these latest BYD patents are attacking variations of the same problem, which in a word you could just summarize as contact. In a conventional lithium-ion battery, you've got a liquid electrolyte, and it can kind of flow just enough into gaps and maintain contact, even if there's a bit of flexibility with the materials either side, so long as it's inside the cell and it doesn't dry up. Solid-state batteries obviously don't have that luxury. You're trying to move lithium ions through a solid material from one side to the other, which are pressed against other solid materials, which is by definition a difficult thing to do. And as the battery repeatedly charges and discharges, those materials can expand, contract, and move slightly, and in some cases even fracture. Tiny gaps can form, and when that happens, ion transport becomes much harder and resistance just simply increases and battery performance just deteriorates. It is a bit of an issue, and one of BYD's new patents actually proposes measuring this directly. So BYD calls the measurement RE, essentially looking at how much of the perimeter of a cathode particle is physically in contact with solid electrolyte particles around it. And BYD's patent says that contact should cover at least 60%, 60% of the cathode particle's perimeter. And that gives you some idea of how important something that sounds incredibly basic actually is. And BYD's patent says that the contact should cover at least 60% of the cathode particles perimeter, 60%, and that gives you some idea of how important something that sounds incredibly basic actually is. And BYD has another design which uses smaller halide electrolyte particles together with larger sulfide electrolyte particles around the cathode material. Another patent adds on an ion conducting layer between different materials specifically to stop them directly reacting with each other. Another uses one electrolyte as a kind of buffer between the cathode material over here and the second sulfide electrolyte. And this is where we're starting to get closer to the answer to the question I asked at the beginning. Why make the battery more complicated? Why use different electrolytes and different layers instead of simply just finding one material and just sticking with it? I'll come back to that question. Why are they choosing not just a sort of one magic solution sort of answer? I'll come back to that because it actually explains one of the biggest misconceptions around solid-state batteries. There is another clever idea in these patents involving the cathode material itself. BYD proposes using monocrystal material in one layer, and then in another layer polycrystalline material. So monocrystal materials, at least my understanding, they tend to resist cracking quite a bit better as the battery repeatedly charges and then discharges. Polycrystalline materials can perform better when you're asking the battery to charge or discharge really, really quickly, and they're more vulnerable to cracking along the boundaries between the crystals. So it's very, very battery sciencey, I understand, but it is still something we can get through this, I'm sure. Again, BYD is effectively trying to take the advantages of two different materials and design around the disadvantages And this is what they're trying to do. And this matters because we're now getting much closer to the actual to actual vehicles with these batteries in. BYD is reportedly aiming to begin small-scale production of these dual electrolyte solid-state cells in 2027, with the first trial batteries being evaluated in camouflage test vehicles actually just now. But that is very different from mass production. Like I said, they're chasing efficiency. It's got to be very, very viable, and they've got to be able to do it reliably for millions of vehicles at a time, all over the world. And then basically they don't want many of them to break, because that would mean an inefficiency, which would be charging a buffer on all the rest, which are not going to go wrong. That's an issue. So for example, you've got 99 good ones and one bad one. The 99 good ones you have to charge a little extra for to cover the cost of the bad one. And if you have less bad ones, the whole of your batteries become a bit cheaper. And the Chinese are very good at this, but that is very different from mass production. Even CATL's chairman has warned that engineering and manufacturing challenges mean mass market solid state batteries are years away still. So that's from CATL's chairman. And I think these patents show us why. So the problem isn't simply inventing a solid state battery or a solid material through which lithium ions can travel. We can do that. We've had that for a good couple of years. But the problem is really creating an entire battery where every material works together, stays in contact, when you push them together, it stays in contact, doesn't react badly with the material next to it, survives thousands of expansion and contraction cycles, can be manufactured, like I said earlier, consistently millions of times around the world, and doesn't cost an absurd amount of money, and doesn't need to be manufactured in a crazy clean factory in a vacuum or something like that in a very inefficient way. And that finally brings us back to why BYD is experimenting with multiple electrolytes. The answer is basically that there isn't one perfect solid electrolyte. There are single electrolytes that could be used, but not on a mass, global sort of scale. That is, there is no one fix for that yet. And a material can be fantastic at conducting lithium ions, but less stable against another part of the cell. Another material may be more chemically stable, actually, but then have different conductivity or mechanical characteristics. Sulfides have extremely good ionic conductivity, and they can be relatively easy to press into close contact with other materials nearby, which make them very attractive for solid-state batteries. But they also have problems with chemical stability. That is, of course, the issue. It's widely reported on the internet. We all know about this at this point. And their interfaces with other materials, there are just problems. They have to iron them out, so to speak. Halide electrolytes have a different set of strengths. So BYD appears to be saying, basically, rather than forcing one material to do everything, it's just simply not a good idea at this point in 2026. We don't know what that material is. There are other ways to do it, so why not put different materials in the parts of the battery where their particular properties are most useful, and put protective or conductive layers between them where necessary. It's almost less about finding the magical battery material and more about engineering a kind of entire ecosystem of materials that can just live together. And I think that's the really interesting thing that these patents tell us. The solid state battery race may not ultimately be won by the company that discovers one extraordinary new material. It may be won, I suspect at this point, by the company that figures out how to make a collection of imperfect materials work harmoniously together millions of times, in very, very cold conditions and very, very warm conditions, as they get expand and contract cheaply enough to put them into ordinary cars that someone can buy for 20,000 Australian dollars or something like that. Cars that we can ultimately just go and buy for not too much money without having to pay a huge premium because it's got a solid state battery on. And BYD clearly thinks using more than one electrolyte could be a part of the answer. BYD are a huge deal, so that is why this matters, and this is why it's important. I'm one of the founding ambassadors for Everything Electric in Sydney. I will be chairing a speech on the 18th of September. I think it's in the middle of the day at 1 o'clock, I think it is, somewhere around there. Feel free to come say hello. I almost never say yes to these events, really. I get too many offers and I just don't want to do too much traveling every year, and I already do too much, I think. I already managed to get us a 20% discount code, which I'm pretty happy about. The code is BA20, and you can use that. You can share it around if you want, and you'll get 20% discount. Thank you so much to the channel members, the Patreon supporters, and yeah, like I was saying in one of the other videos, I want to use Patreon more and talk a little bit more about what's going on. And so there were things I can say on there that I just never would get away with on YouTube. So you're very welcome to join on there. There's also a free tier. I just want to make sure that that's clear. You don't necessarily have to pay. You can just join on Patreon for free. And yeah, thank you so much.